first step to a beautiful bronzed summer glow in the middle of winter or at any time of the year is probably, depending on your skin tone, a light layer of tan. This is my favorite tan at the moment. It's the Sun Escape Week in Fiji Instant Self Tan Mousse. I apply that just with a glove, and this tan smells amazing. If you know the Glass House candles, it smells like the Taha candle. It's like a beautiful sort of caramel vanilla flavor or scent. So this tan applies beautifully. It's obviously a mousse consistency, and it's not sticky. It goes on really easily. It dries quite quickly, and you can then apply a second layer. If you wait a little bit in between, you can apply a second layer quite soon afterwards, and it doesn't lift that first layer, which is awesome. So you can develop quite a deep tan if you want to, or you can go with something quite light. This tan also wears away really nicely, so you don't get any wear patches in your like shoulders or in your elbows, anywhere like that. You don't get any of those really horrible sort of like leftover tan marks that are just gross, and you eventually have to obviously scrub them off. This tan just sort of wears away nicely, and you sort of like you forgot that you had it on. It just wears away, yeah, really beautifully. So that's also what I love about it, because it's low maintenance. You don't have to think, oh God, I really have to scrub this tan off because I look so bad, like I have some disease or something. Or so step one would be to get a beautiful tan. If you're not into fake tanning, then that's fine. If you've been scared of fake tanning in the past because of horror stories that you hear, this would be an awesome one to try. And I'm pretty sure you can buy it online in Australia. I'm not sure about overseas, but I'll leave some links down below. So the next step to a beautiful glow on the skin would be a little bit of hydration. I'm just gonna take a bit of the Rose Water Balancing Mist from Gelique. I'm just gonna spray this all over the face. You can use any face spray that you like. I just find that it's nice to, so refreshing. So even though we want to go with that really glowy effect on the skin, we actually don't want our face to look greasy. So that can be a bit of a problem if you are more on the oily side. Using a lot of illuminating products, you can have like glow all over the cheek where you want it, but then you also might have that natural glow through the center of the face because of oil. So we want to reduce that. Today I'm using the Liquid Powder Shine Illuminator from Natural Born Cosmetics. I think this is like a professional makeup brand, but anyone can buy it. Obviously, I always link all the products I use on my blog. So if you're looking to buy any of the things that I use, I always link where I get them from on there. So check that out. I'm just taking a smaller amount of that on the back of my hand, rubbing it between my fingers, and I'm just going to apply it in the center of the face, just where we might get a little bit oily. If you are particularly oily, then use this all over your face. So for my foundation today, I'm using the Infallible 24-Hour Foundation from L'Oreal. So in the color 150 Radiant Beige, I'm gonna mix with that the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the color Pearl, and that is gonna provide a beautiful glow to the skin. So this is quite a matte foundation usually. This is obviously really illuminating and really glowy. So mixing them together, we're gonna get a beautiful finish. Mixture, I'm just taking a damp beauty blender. You can use whatever brush or sponge you like. It's not going to change anything like particularly. I like this because you can get a really sort of airbrushed effect, and it doesn't apply too heavily either. Like, we don't want it to look really heavy on the skin. So this sort of sponge will pick product up where there's too much, but then also press it into the skin so it's not sitting on the skin, which is really nice. And this foundation is probably a little bit darker than my actual face, but my arms are browner, so obviously we want to look like our head is attached to our body. We want to match our foundation to our body. A little bit on the ears, if the ears are a bit of a funny colour today, which sometimes they are. So because I don't want to use a whole lot of powders today in terms of like setting the skin, I'm using a concealer that sets quite well on its own. This is the Double Wear Stay in Place Concealer in the colour 08 Warm Light Medium. I'm just going to run a little bit of that under the eye. I'm just going to press that into the skin with the same beauty blender. Beauty blenders are awesome. Well, even the Real Technique sponge is really good as well. But these types of sponges are just so good for under the eyes, because you can get right into the lash line, and it's very gentle, and it'll just take away, like if there's too much product there, it'll just lift it and take it away. So today, because it's obviously a really summery glowy look, we're not going to use a whole lot of eyeshadow, but I'm still going to use a really beautiful bronze shade. And because I do have really oily eyelids, I always need to use a primer. So in this instance, if you don't have oily eyelids and you find your eyeshadow doesn't move around, then that is fine. You don't have to use a primer. And that's like any scenario. If you don't need it, then you don't have to use it. But for me, I wouldn't even bother putting mascara on without a primer these days, because the oiliness in my eyelids just transfers everything around. It's just hell. Well, I'd say that's obviously a first world problem, but you know. So I'm just pressing that onto the lid and then using my little ring finger to sort of tap it out so that it's blended. Then I'm going to take a little bit on my little ring finger and just rub it under the eye. So for my eyeshadow today, I'm taking Woodwinked by MAC. It's a bronze shade, but it has a gold reflect in it. So it's really lovely for being defined, but not too heavy. So I'm just going to swap my brushes. I'm using a bigger fluffy brush. I just find that it's a little bit softer in application. I don't want it to be too defined. So that's why I'm just swapping. And in areas where you want more sort of coverage or pigment, just press onto the lid, rather than like wiping or swirling. And then on the edges, just swirl. Just really lightly and really gently so that you just blend without actually having to get a blending brush. So I'm then going to take a little bullet brush and the same eyeshadow. What's the bullet brush there? Same eyeshadow, I'm just going to blend under the eye. Just a small amount so we get a nice defined effect, but it's not heavy at all because the colour is not dark, obviously. Yeah, it's the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the colour Opal. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that and pop that on the inner corner of my eye, just using a little fluffy brush. I'm going to take a little bit of the chromographic pencil in the colour NC15 NW20. Just going to pop that on my waterline. Curl the lashes. I always curl right in at the base of the lashes, trying to get every lash as close as you can. And then I pull out like halfway probably, and then press again, just to curl the tip. So I'm just taking the Grandiose Mascara from Lancome in black, and I'm just going to press this into the root of the lashes and wiggle upwards. Because I'm a total diva, I'm applying lashes, but you don't have to. I find if you want to go with more of a natural look, it's good to use lashes where you don't have to apply eyeliner along the base of your top lash line. It gives you more of a natural effect, and often people will wonder if you're actually wearing lashes, which is generally what we want anyway. I'm using the number 747M from Model Rock, and I'm just going to take that, pop it on my lash. So since I haven't set my skin, I'm just going to go back in with this cream highlighter. It is the Cargo Cream Blush in the colour Champagne. And I'm just going to pop that onto the high points of my face. A little bit above my brow bone. A little bit on my lip. Taking a pointed powder brush from Designer Makeup Tools. And I'm just going to blend that highlight. And this is just going to give us a bit of a glow. Then going in with the Soleil de Tan Chanel, I've actually got a little small sample size of this one. It's handy when you know people in the business. So it usually comes in like a bigger pot, and it's a cream bronzer pretty much. It's like a gel texture actually once you start blending it. So I've just blended it on the back of my hand like this, and then I'm just going to pop it sort of in my contour probably. But I will blend it up. I'm not going to do sort of like a really harsh contour. Sides of my nose, because we obviously want a bit of colour there. I'm then going to pop it higher, tap a little bit onto the cheeks. Obviously we want to be brown. And onto the chin where the sun would naturally hit us. But also to give us shape. It's like a two-in-one thing. It just blends out really easily, this product. So pretty much where I've applied it, just sort of giving it like a swirl. Taking a little bit of this cream blush from Youngblood in the colour Tropical Glow. It's a luminous cream blush. I'm just going to pop it onto the apple of my cheek. And then I'm just blending it back. So then I'm going to take a little bit of the Studio Care Blend Pressed Powder in the colour Dark from MAC. So this is actually a powder foundation, but I've got it in the colour Dark, and it's great as a bronzer or a contour powder. I'm just going to take a big fluffy brush and I'm just going to blend that a bit through my cheekbone just to get sort of more of a sculpted effect, only because I do have such a big face, so it's good to give it some actual sort of structure and define my bones a little bit more down the neck, especially if, you know, you've got quite a pale neck, because obviously a lot of the time our neck is the most pale part of our body, and if you're really bronzing up the face, make sure to do the neck. Also make sure to do, if you've got your hair up, to do behind your ear, because that can be a massive giveaway. So I'm going in with the Sundance Mineral Radiance powder from Youngblood, and it's this beautiful sort of like 4 colours, and you can use them separately or you can blend them together, and it's a really nice way to get that really sun-kissed effect. So I'm going to take that on a blush brush and dust that across the cheek for a little bit more colour. I'm just taking all those colours together, although just be careful because it is quite pigmented, so you'll find that you can easily pick up too much. We don't really want to have too much. So since I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt today, I'm going to pick up all the colours from this one on a big fluffy brush and just dust it across the top of my shoulder there. And that's just going to really reflect the glowy look we've got going on our face and make us look like we're sort of all matched, rather than our face being really bronzed and beaming and then our shoulders being sort of like just natural skin. It makes you look quite airbrushed actually, which is really nice. Go in with the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector that I used earlier for my inner corner highlight there. I'm just going to take a little fluffy brush. This one's from Haku Hodo. Run that little highlighter across the top of the cheekbone there. So I'm just taking a little flat shader brush. This one is from, I think, Gorgeous Cosmetics, and I'm going to take a little bit of that highlighter from Becca and pop that through the brow. For the face, I'm just going to add a little bit of more of a matte texture to the skin. I'm using the blush from Bobbi Brown in the colour Pretty Coral 31. Just taking that on the same blush brush that I used earlier. So for my lips today, I'm taking a Bobbi Brown lip liner in the colour Beige. I'm just going to run that. I'm going to go in with a little bit of the nude lip liner from Revlon, which I always use and love. And I'm going to apply that on top for just a bit more colour. So you choose what you need. I'm taking this gloss from Gerard Cosmetics in the colour Candy Kiss. It's like a beautiful sort of peach colour. As you can see, it's very light. And then give it a bit of a blend. So the last step of the makeup is a spray with a bit of Fix Plus or any setting spray that you like. So thanks for watching today, guys. I hope that you've enjoyed this beautiful summery bronze makeup look that can be achieved any time of year. Even if it is freezing cold in Melbourne and it's winter, we can still look nice and glowy and bronzed. So I hope that you've enjoyed the tutorial, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to Show Me How Beauty to see all the videos that we upload, and I'll see you next time on Show Me How Beauty.